October 10th marks World Day Against the Death Penalty, a call to abolish capital punishment around the globe. Last year, 18 countries, including the United States, executed people. China is among those that refused to publish data on the death penalty. That makes it almost impossible to know exactly how many people were executed worldwide. What we do know is that Iran has one of the highest global execution rates. At least 314 people were executed there in 2021. That's according to Amnesty International. That's up 28% on the year before. 3 of those executed in Iran were under 18 at the time of their alleged crimes. Many more people in Iran have been sentenced to die and are awaiting execution. DW's Persian service has spoken to one person who can't be identified. He's received the death penalty but is currently on bail and does not know what will happen next.
You know, when you get the death sentence, everything changes from that moment on. It seems that everyone is different. Everything was going very slowly. It's like my brain didn't want to and couldn't accept it. I was in denial. I couldn't believe that I received a death sentence. After that, my illness relapsed in prison. They did not give me my medicine at all. They didn't give me medicine until I was very sick. They had to take me to the hospital with 2 prison guards. Do you know what one of the guards said in front of me? He said he's been given a death sentence and he's going to be executed quickly, so why are they taking him to the hospital? What is the point? When my mother was told the verdict, she was at work and she fainted. Whenever my parents called me in prison, they were sobbing. They both broke.
And for more, we're joined by Mahmoud Amiri Moghadam. He's a professor of neuroscience at the University of Oslo. He's also the director and co-founder of the NGO Iran Human Rights, which monitors human rights violations in Iran. Thank you very much for being with us. Now, we just heard from an Iranian who has the death sentence hanging over their head. You're a neuroscientist. Can you tell us what that does to a person?
Good morning. Well, you see, the theme of the World Day this year is death penalty, a road paved by torture. And as we could hear also from what these prisoners said, life changes completely. We have talked to many death row prisoners. They are traumatized for the rest of their life, as long as it takes. We know the situation on the death row is a disaster. And beside that, the process of being sentenced to death in Iran, very often people are sentenced to death based on confessions extracted by torture. So I don't think we can actually understand how it feels to be on a death row.
How difficult is it to compile information about the use of the death penalty in Iran?
Well, Iranian authorities do not announce all the executions. So this morning we published a report showing that at least 428 people have been executed in Iran so far in 2022. It's 89% increase. Authorities announced only 12% of these executions. So about 88% have been documented and confirmed by Iran Human Rights. It's very difficult, but after about 15 years of monitoring the death penalty, we have a broad network enabling us to document and to confirm cases. So what we do, we get it from live eyewitnesses, other prisoners, people within the system, families, lawyers, but it is difficult, and reporting about the death penalty is illegal, and the person doing that can be sentenced to heavy prison or even death sentence.
Okay, just want to repeat that figure you gave us, 428 executions so far this year. You're calling that an 89% increase on the year before. Assuming that this information is correct, why do you think that executions in Iran are increasing to that degree?
Well, this is the number that we have managed to confirm through two independent sources. You see, our research of the death penalty trends in the last 15 years shows that despite the fact that most people executed are charged with charges like homicide or drug trafficking, the timing of the executions are very closely related to political events. When the authorities fear protests, they increase the number of executions. So it seems that the authorities have been expecting protests in 2022, and we believe that their aim has been to create fear in the society to prevent protests, but obviously they have failed. You can also see in other countries, the pictures that we have from Daesh, ISIS, when they took over Syria and Iraq, is the picture of mass executions, because death penalty is the main instrument of creating fear and political oppression for any dictator.
Professor, thank you very much for talking with us. That was Professor Mahmoud Amiri Moghadam, director of the NGO Iran Human Rights.